Alright fellas, here we're back in Pokemon Masters, and today we're going to be looking at the Legendary Gauntlet Sync Pair Scout here. So tomorrow we're going to be getting the Legendary Gauntlet as well as the release of Registeel into the Legendary Arena, and of course he will also be in the Legendary Gauntlet. So we have Registeel, Latios, and Tornadus, and to coincide with that we have Sygna, How, Red and Snorlax, and Lance and Dragonite being featured on the Sync Pair Scout. So should you go for this banner? I'm going to go ahead and say no, but I do think that there is some legitimate good value in the Sync Pair Scout, especially compared to a lot of other things this month. I do say no because we have the Triple Unova featured Pokefair Scout with the Unova Sygna characters, and I think that is probably either the most valuable banner of the month or the second most valuable banner of the month. And we have the rerun for Neo Champion Calum and Greninja, which I think is the number 2/number 1. You know, I don't know which one would be better between that or the Sygna Unova banner, but both of those banners have extreme value, and I would say it's better than this one. And that if you're going to be summoning or using your gems, it would be on at least one of those two. Of course, you can save as well, obviously. Anyway, I want to make it a little bit quick going through the overview for the characters here, so I'm going to kind of mostly sum up their kits and how they work. So Lance here is a sync pair that is just a lot of damage. He's got 451 attack and special attack. Obviously give him the level, you know, the EX and whatnot, it gets even higher. He's got Hyper Beam. He was I don't know, was he the first unit to have Hyper Beam? He may have been, I don't remember, and I'm not going to fact check it. But he is obviously the most prominent character with Hyper Beam for sure. Very, very strong on release. He's got no multipliers for it, and he lacks any form of self-sufficiency here at 1 out of 5, and his trainer move sucks. That's about the best I can tell you. And of course he has no multiplier on his Outrage. So Lance at 1 out of 5 is not really that appealing. He can do some good Hyper Beam damage, mostly on type, but that's about the extent of which you're going to be using him. He does get great multipliers at 2 out of 5 and 3 out of 5 though. I would say 3 out of 5 is probably more worth your time than anything. So Furious Brain and Haymaker. Furious Brain is a 30% multiplier for Hyper Beam, so that's already really good. Haymaker is a 100% multiplier on the Sync Nuke, plus he has 6 Sync nodes, and you can obtain up to 5 of them. So that is a lot of high power for his Sync move that you can use alongside Haymaker here. He's also got Critical Eye for his self-sufficiency, meaning you only have to buff his attack and special attack, which is not hard considering we have sync pairs like Lily, who can do both offensive buffing as well as Classic Giovanni. So those are two very good examples. Classic Giovanni also shares the region theme skill with him, so you can pair them together and it'll work pretty well for you. Overall, Lance is a very strong Dragon-type damage dealer. He is among the best Dragon-type damage dealer. He is up there with Serena and Zygarde in terms of strength. So if you do not have her, or maybe if you do have her, you can compare his level of strength to her, because they are both very, very strong. I think this is I think this may be a grid you can run. I don't quite remember. I don't remember how I made the grid. I know there's a way to make it. I just can't think of it right now. How the hell was it? This? I don't remember how I made the grid. Okay. I know you can pick up 5 of these nodes. I just don't remember how to make the grid right now. Just at all. So if I ever figure that out, maybe I'll post it in the comments. I don't know. Maybe. So yeah. Anyway, Lance, definitely a very, very strong damage dealer, just in general. So if you do want to go for him, go for it, I guess. But I would say just, you know, save and whatnot. Despite the fact that he is a very, very strong damage dealer, because obviously we have a lot of damage dealers that are very, very strong. Ray is a good damage dealer. Akar is a solid damage dealer. A lot of characters are good damage dealers. Lance, obviously, is among the best, but you do want to consider you got to save your gems wherever you can, right? Especially because he is on a triple feature scout, which 1.5% rates, while not bad, you know, you are also risking the chance of getting characters that aren't Lance, if Lance, of course, is one of your main targets. So you do have to keep that in mind. Okay, but yeah, I just realized, I believe, damn it, close, damn it, I'm so close. Either way, whatever, fine. There's your 4 sync nodes. I know you can get 5, but I can't fucking think of it right now. I can't think of it because I know my grid has it. If I think of the grid, or I have the grid on my game, then I'll post the image here. But anyway, so that is Lance. He's a very, very strong damage dealer. He's got great multipliers. He's got critical life for his crit buffs and whatnot. All he needs is a support to buff his offenses, and he'll be fine. You do have the ramp up on the trainer move, but do consider you're taking a lot of HP, so maybe if you find this to be worthwhile for yourself, maybe pick it up, but of course, I would probably just bring a support to do it and whatnot, right? Especially if you're only running him for DPS, you only need a special attack buffer. If you're only using him for the nuke, you only need an attack buffer. But of course, generally you're going to want both, right? So you're going to want both offensive buffs. Outside of that, he has some pretty decent stuff in the grid, such as healthy healing, rejuvenate, all this stuff which is relatively useful, but obviously you're going to want to focus on his damage. He does have extra stuff at 4 out of 5 and 5 out of 5, such as propulsion after being dropped below 60% HP. He's got damage guard after being dropped below 60% HP, and he is able to max his offenses when dropping below 60% HP and heal himself. So those are 4 out of 5 and 5 out of 5 abilities. These are his self-sufficiency abilities here, being able to heal himself as well as buff his offenses after dropping below a lot of HP. So if you do want self-sufficiency, 5 out of 5 is the way to go, but of course do consider you are sacrificing a lot of sync nodes for it, so that you got to keep that in mind, right? You got to keep that in mind, so you may want to just preserve wherever you can, right? You've got to. But anyway, yeah, so that is the Lance grid, as well as his strengths and whatnot. Very, very good damage dealer. Let's move on to Red and Snorlax. Now, Red and Snorlax is a sync pair you would definitely like to have here at 1 out of 5. He's got relatively solid defenses. He's more specially defensive than anything, but he does have some other abilities here. His most unique ability is that, obviously, a normal type support. He's able to do sync countdown on his trainer move, as well as apply super effective next and buff an ally's crit. Super effective next, no longer exclusive to him or other limited sync pairs, because Dana now has it, but it's still a really, really good ability, especially if you are big on doing, super effective damage and whatnot. If you are a person that just likes to do Stadium on type or any battles on type or whatever, and you don't care to go off type, Red is definitely one of the better supports for you, because he's able to do super effective next extremely consistently, as well as provide other good things. He's got, of course, the super effective next as stated, and the sync countdown, which is amazing because you can run him with maybe Head Start 1, Adrenaline, something like that, to where you can get a lot of sync countdown, and you can get some sync moves in quicker before your enemies can get in theirs, and it can help you win the battle. Sync countdown is definitely one of the best abilities in the game. He's also got Mini Potion All. This is great for maybe the half HP parameter, to where you can heal yourself in any free turns you may have. He's got Body Slam for paralysis and Rock Smash for defense debuffing. Mostly useful stuff for the Gauntlet and the paralysis section, and the defense debuffs are fine, but most of the time you're going to be using trainer moves, so this isn't going to get used too much, I guess. He also does have the max moves, which is G-Max Replenish, restoring 1 MP to both his Mini Potion All and his trainer move, so you don't have to worry about NPR, though he does get trainer move NPR at 1 out of 5, which is very, very good. So there's that. And he's also got Max Knuckle, I guess, if you want to use it for attack buffs, but most of the time you generally want to go for G-Max Replenish. But of course, again, if you want to top off attack buffs for your allies, there you go, you have the option. In his passive skills, he has Max Regen, giving himself regeneration after using his sync move, so he doesn't have to rely, or his max move, sorry, so he doesn't have to rely on the Mini Potion Alls for his own self-recovery and whatnot, right? So that's nice. He has Team Alert Mind 1, raising the defense of all allies when his HP drops below half. I mean, it's just one buff. It's not really that crazy, but it exists. He's also got Group Moral Support 4, raising special defense of all allies at a 50% chance when his trainer uses a move. So, if you use your mini potions, your trainer moves and whatnot, you'll be able to gradually raise your special defense as well and become, more and more resistant to special moves. So that's pretty nice, right? I would say all of the stuff that you want for Red here is at 1 out of 5. The best thing he provides is his trainer move with the sync countdown, crit buffing, as well as super effective next. The NPR at 1 out of 5 is really good, as well as the G-Max Replenish, as well as, of course, having the healing with Mini Potion All. He doesn't really need anything else. He really doesn't. But if you do look at move levels, at 2 out of 5, he gets Hostile Environment for increased paralysis chance. Group Therapy on his max move in case you want to heal status conditions, which isn't bad. Honor Roll on Rock Smash, which is guaranteeing defense debuffs. Not anything insane, but there it is. Quick Cure in order to remove status changes on him whenever they're provided. Nothing crazy, but of course some solid abilities, I suppose. Looking at the 3 out of 5 here, he's got the Max Shielding Strikes 2, raising his defense by 2 after using the max move. If you want to become more physically bulky, there you go. He's also got Flag Bearer to buff allies' attack. It's a Flag Bearer 3 though, so it's a 40% chance, so relatively inconsistent. Safety Net, probably the best ability he has on the grid, other than maybe Adrenaline 1 here, to where he's able to give Endurance to all allies after using his Sync move, and of course he is a support EX, so that is definitely not bad at all. So Safety Net, very, very great ability, giving Endurance to all allies, making it so you can potentially win by the skin of your teeth. Again, Adrenaline 1, really good ability. Compare that with Adrenaline 1 as a Licky skill or something. Be careful of crits, obviously. And you can definitely work that out. That's very, very nice. Combine that with the Sync Countdown on the trainer move, and you can do a lot of Sync Countdown, right? Just from him. And that's not including allies. Other than that, he's got Master Healer and stuff, but these are the biggest abilities, I would say. Flag Bearer, Safety Net, and Adrenaline. Flag Bearer is only if you're using physical allies with him, though, and obviously it's very inconsistent, and you have to use your attack moves, so it's only really good in like a Gauntlet scenario where you have a lot of time, right? So yeah, Safety Net, Adrenaline 1, probably his best abilities, but really, if you're going to go for him, just go for one copy, that's it. That's all he really needs in order to be really, really solid and provide 95% of what he does, so yeah. And how to finish this off here, definitely the most recent of all of these sync pairs, releasing in May of 2023, so you got a very quick rerun compared to most characters. This guy, oh boy, he's got a lot. So, obviously, he's got some pretty solid stats up here. Solid enough defenses, pretty good offenses, great speed. Big thing with him is that he is a Tech Electric sync pair, and he's got a lot of good utility things. He's got Fairy Zone. I'm pretty sure he was the second. Yeah, he was the first ever. I think he was the second. He's the second ever Fairy Zone sync pair. A third, I think, was Mina, because I'm pretty sure Mina released after him. I'm quite certain. And obviously he sets it more consistently, so this is very good for your fairy attackers. He's got Buddy Electro Web, which does 110 power, but the power is doubled when in Fairy Zone, so that's nice. It lowers enemy speed by 2 and raises speed of all allies by 2, and it's an AoE move with 1 gauge. And its activation condition is when there is any weather terrain zone effect activated. So very, very easy to get activated. Very, very nice, right? Buffing ally speed is amazing with this, as well as debuffing enemy speed. So if you want to combine anyone who has like Inertia plus Cakewalk, I think Wally has something where, yeah, he has Speedster Sync, and he also has a Cakewalk, so not a bad pairing there, right? He's also got his trainer move here, which raises his special attack by 4 and crit by 2, and he reduces Sync Countdown by 1 when in Fairy Zone, which is a very, very, very good ability. I tend to use this ability in some showcases where I'll use his Fairy Zone late, and then after the Sync move, I'll use his trainer move in order to get that Sync Countdown so I can ensure myself another Sync move. This is very, very good, and the Sync Countdown's probably not underestimated, but definitely a more highlighting ability for me personally. So speed buffs, speed debuffs, pretty solid power on the Buddy Electro Web, Sync Countdown, Fairy Zone. He also sets Electric Terrain and extends it on entry, so that's very, very nice there as well. You do get about, a sync move and a half amount of turns with it, if that makes sense to you. He has Team Power Induction 2 as well, sorry, which powers up moves of all allies when in electric terrain, so he's very, very good as an electric terrain support, especially for other electric sync pairs, right? I tend to pair him with other Elisa characters like Classic Elisa and regular Elisa and Substrika, to where they can get some good power buffs from him alongside the electric terrain. Obviously, he can power up allies as well, like Marnie and Ash, Red, these type of characters as well, just from that passive. And Nimona, of course. A lot of electric characters can benefit from this. And of course, we got Melee Ocean Breeze, which is an amazing ability. Increases special moves next of all allies by 1 when an ally activates a weather, terrain, or zone effect. Meaning, if you pair him with other characters that set weather, terrain, or zone, you will be getting +1 special moves next to all allies every single time this activates. So again, pair him up with any other special electric type, like a special electric type damage dealer, and let's see, who do we have there that fits that bill? Not a lot. Already not a lot. Brother Ash obviously is a big one, probably the biggest one, and of course himself, he benefits a lot as well. New Year's Volkner as well, and probably normal How as well. Just in terms of electric types, those are the ones that benefit. And if you want to consider characters that aren't electric type, then you've got a lot of special damage dealers that can just benefit from them. Especially also on the fairy side of things, if you want to use them for Fairy Zone. Obviously, he's able to buff characters like Diantha, wherever she is. Diantha. As well as Sygna Suit Wally, even though he's got some relatively low damaging moves as it is. Palentine's Serena, she could definitely use the buff for sure. Special moves next is very, very helpful for some of these type of characters, and of course just any other special damage dealer in general. So pairing him up with those is very, very nice because they can get the buff from this, since you're going to have the electric terrain active, probably, and obviously the special move next is very, very good. So he's very, very good in these utility areas, not so much in terms of damage. The damage on this is fine, but obviously it is split. It's better for side damage instead of being your main damage focus, and the nuke is okay, I guess. Only one multiplier. I would say 1 out of 5, he is fine as well. I tend to use him a decent bit for the speed buffs as well as speed debuffs. The sync countdown I tend to use alongside that, and I think that the extra special moves next and the team power induction 2 are just added bonuses to how good he is. Honestly, I love all of these abilities personally. They're just pretty good, because I did pull him off of a daily and I've used him a decent bit since, because I found him to be quite useful. Here at 1 out of 5, he's got nothing for the most part. 2 out of 5, he gets some super duper effective stuff on Dazzling Gleam, Weird Vibes, which powers up moves in Psychic Terrain. I wouldn't pick it up, really. I mean, this is if you intend to use him with Psychic Terrain, which will get rid of his Electric Terrain. It'll power up his moves still, but I just wouldn't, honestly. If you plan to do that, sure, but I don't know why you would. Grounding Wire prevents him from flinching, confusing trap. Shock Recovery, Power Induction 1 is a 10% multiplier, and Dazzling Gleam, Whimsical Power 9, 90% power buff to Dazzling Gleam when in Fairy Zone. I guess if you want to do super effective fairy damage, this is not bad, but off type, it's not going to help you. So overall, the 2 out of 5 isn't really insane at all, honestly. Yeah, not really at all, I would say. That's pretty much nothing crazy. 2 out of 5, we do have a lot of better abilities. Hunter's Instinct is a solid multiplier, especially because it's very, very easy to activate. I have a bad cough. Cakewalk for his nuke is very, very nice as well as Whimsical Sync, meaning he's got 200% total in multipliers, which is pretty good, right? We've seen nukers like Anniversary Skyla who have had similar damage, right, which is not bad, though obviously Anniversary Skyla has far higher offensive stats, so her nuke definitely looks a lot better, but do consider these are not bad multipliers to have for sure. Though I do think with him, his utility is definitely far better than his damage, right? He gets a lot of different stuff, right? He gets, let's see, what is this? Team Altered Field Dodge 9, raising evasion of all allies by 1 when a weather, terrain, or zone effect is activated. Mind Games 9 for AoE special defense debuffs, because both of these moves are AoE. That's very good. Power Plants to consistently set up electric terrain, also a very, very good ability. You know, these abilities specifically are definitely why I would like him more, because I don't really care much for his nuke. I think he's definitely far better as a utility type of sync pair, though of course his nuke is not, you know, bad at all, for sure. I would just pick up these abilities more than anything else. I would probably, I don't like having to pick this up, sure. I guess I would probably pick something up like this if I wasn't going to go for Power Plant. If I was going to go for a quicker clear, something like this, probably for some damage, the nuke, as well as the Mind Games. Mind Games is a very, very strong ability here, I would say, especially if you do plan to give him something in the lucky skill like Defense Crush or Mind Games there. You can definitely make full use of that and get some double special defense debuffs or some defense debuffs alongside it, and combine those with your speed debuffs you're doing as well as speed buffs. It's a lot of utility for him. So he can work as a solid nuker, he can work as a good utility sync pair, and just overall not bad at all. I've used him to great effect for electric allies and fairy allies, as well as using him for ramping special moves next on special attacking allies, and he does it pretty well, I would say. The speed buffs are amazing, honestly, it's so good, as well as the, you know, like side DPS he's able to do with the Buddy Electroweb. It's very, very nice for damaging those sides to where I can KO them easier, as well as the sync countdown on his trainer move. Very, very nice, right? So, combining all these characters together, Lance is an amazing damage dealer at 3 out of 5. Snorlax, Red and Snorlax are a great support character with sync countdown at 1 out of 5. And Sygna Suhao is a great utility character between speed buff, speed debuff, sync countdown, electric terrain, fairy zone, whatever else at 1 out of 5 as well, right? So all very, very nice sync pairs, but again, I do recommend saving your gems and just going for characters like Sygna Hilda, Hilbert, and I guess but mostly Hilbert, because Hilbert's able to help you with 5 different types, and Neo Champion Calum is one of the best supports in the game, and I feel you'll get a little bit more utility and use out of these characters than you will going for all of these characters, right? Especially considering a lot of these characters are also at 1.5% rates. I would say that this value, the value of this banner is only a slight bit less than the triple feature Unova Scout, because this banner is just absolutely insane. You got another good damage dealer with Hilda, so that can be paired up with Lance. Sygna Suit Hilbert and Sygna Suit N are both really solid tech units, and N definitely has its problems, let's be honest. N has a lot of problems, but combine them both together, I would say both of them are better than the pairing of Hao and Red, just in my opinion though, but whatever. And Neo Champion Calum here, again, great, really great support. One of the best in the game still. So I would say just save it for those banners, but this banner definitely has some solid value as well, definitely as a newer player, you know. So if you're able to pull multiple copies of Lance, preferably 2 out of 5 at least, or 3 out of 5, he can be very, very strong. Red and Snorlax and Hao are both very, very good at 1 out of 5 as well. So yeah, you can definitely make full use of that. If you do plan on summoning, I do wish you luck, but I personally will be skipping, and I would recommend you do the same, mostly just for the fact of these 2 banners here. But anyway, yeah, I'll see you all later. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know how your summons go for the Legendary Gauntlet Pokefair Scout, and I will see you all later.